There you go. That's pretty good. Now slide over. Get over. All right. There you go. Keep going though. Keep going. Keep sliding. Hold up. There we are. All right. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, just relax. Spread your feet out also, like towards the end. Yeah, and you'll get more balance.
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, we're pretty good.
Like...
That's the hardest part.
Okay. Should have filmed that.
Oh, we've been filming.
Huh?
We've been filming.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
That was about as sketchy as it gets. But hey, we're here. It always feels the most sketchy at first, but you gotta get your sea legs back, and then
or in the beginning, or at all. Like,
oh, you never had sea legs?
Nah. My people are from the desert, you know.
Oh yeah, which desert?
The Sahara Desert. I'm Egyptian. I don't think I've ever told you that, or I've said it in my stand-up before.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever caught that you were Egyptian.
Yeah. I'm ethnically ambiguous, so I've been called everything.
Yeah, Egyptian.
It's one that nobody ever guesses, you know,
no,
like
because you never really meet someone from Egypt out here.
Or anywhere.
Or anywhere. Well, I guess in Egypt you probably would.
Right.
But I don't know if is there a long history of people moving from Egypt to America?
I mean, not like, you know, the Italians and the Irish and everything. Right. So no, I would say not.
But you weren't born in Egypt, were you?
No, I was born in the States.
Oh, okay. Parents from Egypt?
Yeah. So I'm actually working on this bit how like the Egyptians are lazy and like there's no way they built the pyramids.
Yeah.
Like the aliens definitely built them because we're not like honest people. Like we're shysters. We're more sleazy than the Saudis, but we just don't have the oil, you know? So we have no status.
Yeah, there's no oil in Egypt?
Not really. Not like the rest of the Middle East.
So some people just got lucky that there's a lot of oil.
Yeah.
In like Saudi Arabia, there just happens to be a lot of oil there.
Right. Iran, Syria. I don't know. I guess that's where the dinosaurs died. Who knows, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's some oil here.
I think there's a lot of oil here.
But we just don't want to fuck everything up, or?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Well, we still do a little bit.
Yeah.
There's always an oil spill like once a year.
Yeah.
Off the coast.
Right.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Am I the most terrified guest you've ever had on the canoe?
Do you feel terrified?
No, but...
No, I mean, it's not uncommon for someone to come out and be freaked out, especially at first.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, LSH was pretty spooked at first.
Dark people in the water, man.
Casey Rocket was a little bit spooked.
He's white. There's no excuse for that.
Well, you guys had the Nile River or something, right?
Yeah.
Is that a big river?
I think it's pretty famous.
Yeah. And they would do some of this business back in Egypt. I could see a guy, like a pharaoh, being like paddled around.
Yeah.
That might have been a thing, right?
Yeah. I think he would do it himself. Yeah, he wouldn't do it himself.
Yeah. No, I could imagine you being Egyptian.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I could see, and maybe this is racist.
I mean, like, yeah, what is your like stereotype of an Egyptian? Like,
well, no, there's something.
Is there one?
No, but just like looks wise, like, I could see like something about your eyes. I could see you being a pharaoh or something.
Well, I mean, the only thing that I could tell from all the old pictures and stuff is that all the men wore eyeliner. That's the only thing that you know for sure.
Right.
So maybe if I wore eyeliner, people would be able like, oh, you're definitely Egyptian.
Yeah, but maybe it's like your eyelashes or something. Like I kind of feel like you're wearing eyeliner.
Oh, okay.
But you're not.
But I'm not. No.
Yeah. So have you been to Egypt?
Yeah, I've been there 4 times.
And wait, both of your parents are from Egypt.
Right.
So why'd they come here?
Less corruption.
Yeah.
Better life. Same reason most people come here.
So it's a little bit of a thing for people to come here from Egypt. Or maybe they go somewhere else. Where do they usually go in Egypt?
Probably the UK.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess that's closer.
Yeah. Like, I mean, have you been to the UK?
No.
Okay. So like there are more Middle Eastern restaurants than English restaurants, which I mean, English food sucks. I think that's
Yeah.
universally agreed upon.
Right.
Like it's all like liver and kidney pie and shit like that.
Yeah,
Like,
I've heard it's no good.
Yeah, it's terrible. And so like your best bet for good food when you're in the UK is to get Middle Eastern food.
Yeah.
And it is some of the best in the world. Like I've had amazing Indian food, like shawarma, all that stuff is amazing.
Yeah. Well, pretty much like, I don't even know what is American food, but it all came from other places, I feel like.
I mean, what's uniquely American would probably be like donuts or something. Or like donuts like as the burger, like a bun for a burger or something.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know.
Yeah. I heard orange chicken was invented here.
Orange chicken, yeah. I believe that.
Yeah, so that's cool. So you went to Egypt. What do you think of Egypt?
I mean, it's really old. You know, like the US is what, 250, 60 years old?
Yeah.
Like no more than that. But like you go there and things are like 5,000 years old.
That's a trip.
Or 10,000 years old. Yeah. Because like it's like gradual. Because you go to Europe and things are like a couple thousand years old. You know?
Yeah, I always wanted to go to the pyramids.
Yeah. Yeah, just watch out because there are a lot of scammers out there, like people that like will just stop you and say that you need to pay a random fee to like back to my original bit, you know. It's funny, I was watching this guy on YouTube who's a traveler, and he was saying like Egypt is the most corrupt country that he's ever like, and he's been to 80 countries.
Wow.
He's like, people would just randomly stop you and like say they're a cop, and they always had the same look, like bald, leather jacket in the desert, which makes no sense. It's like if I was wearing a leather jacket right now, you know?
Yeah.
And then they show you, they flash like a dirty badge.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that, or you can't film this, you can't film that. And he said like one person stopped him and made him go through his phone and just start deleting images that they thought were like offensive or whatever.
Damn.
Or too revealing. You know what I mean?
And this is a non-cop who's doing this stuff.
Well, I mean, maybe they have some authority. You never know.
Yeah, but why? Yeah. Because
some governmental official.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yeah, and why don't they want pictures of stuff?
I don't know.
Like I know they do that in like China.
Yeah, it's the
and
same
like
kind
North
of concept,
Korea.
right? Like if, yeah, just kind of authoritarian governments. They just don't want certain things getting out, and like whatever those things are, like there's an arbitrary standard, you know.
Like the tourism. Everybody's going to Egypt to go check out the pyramids and mummies and stuff.
Right.
So I feel like whenever there's huge tourist attractions like that are like globally known, like
right,
there's just going to be people.
Yeah, they're going to capitalize on it.
And it just gets ruined, kind of.
Right. It's like I remember when I went to like the Eiffel Tower in Paris, like there were people just hawking like cheap shit, like cheap plastic replicas and all this shit. And it just cheapens the whole thing because you have this image of like, you know, like be it a romantic one or whatever. And then people are just like, you know, just like being trying to sell you this cheap shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
yeah, if anything is too good, then it gets kind of ruined.
Yeah.
Or I guess it depends how you look at it, but like it's not what it originally was. But even the pyramids, I guess, like, you know, a lot of people would say if you look far back enough, it's like the pyramids were a bad thing, right? I mean, it was like slaves making it.
Well, yeah.
If it wasn't aliens, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, like we have the complete opposite work ethic of the Mexicans, you know? Like the Mexicans are very hardworking and like keep a low profile and they're modest. Like we brag about being lazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But look at the Mexican pyramids compared to the
I mean, they're
Egyptian
still
ones.
impressive, right?
Yeah, but they're not
as
the
renowned,
pyramids of
right?
Giza. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to go to both. I'd love to check out both.
Yeah, I went to the pyramids. I'm a pretty big traveler. So like if you dig deep down in my Instagram, like I've been to like over 30 countries.
Whoa.
So, yeah. Like this is all pre-COVID, obviously, but
wait, I'm just thinking right now, how did Mexicans and Egyptians get the idea for pyramids? How is that a weird coincidence? Is pyramids like a thing that people I mean, they look different, but
do they have them in like Southeast Asia? Like I haven't been there, but like I'm thinking, like don't they have like huge kind of? I don't know if they're more like huge temples or pyramids, but like in Chiang Mai and Thailand or something.
Yeah, I guess it's always like a natural thing to try to make something tall,
right?
Meet up at
like
the top.
It's impressive, especially like back in the day.
Yeah, for some reason everyone thinks God wants you to build something really big for him.
It, or is it challenging God a bit?
I mean, maybe it is challenging, but don't they always justify it as it's like for the gods? Don't they always try to say that?
Yeah,
I mean, they're all religious. All these people are religious, and they have a belief,
right?
But I guess a lot of them, like the pharaohs, probably thought they were gods, right?
Yeah, maybe. I think the people thought they were gods too.
Right. Yeah. So the pyramids were maybe for them. Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Wait. So were you? Where were you born?
I was born in Michigan. So yeah, my parents, they got their PhDs there, and then moved to Florida, and I grew up there.
Lansing?
That's where. Yeah, that's where they went to Michigan State. Yep. And then I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, which is the shittiest part of Florida.
Really?
By far. Yeah. Like it's the most boring. Like Florida's weird because it becomes more northern the more southern you get, right? So like when you're close to the Georgia, Florida, Alabama border, like it's pretty redneck. It's like going 50 miles outside of Austin, you know? And then you get towards like Orlando, and that's like a lot of transplants, Tampa, and then Miami is essentially just New York, right?
Right.
So it's like half like New York Jew and then half Cuban. So the part of Florida where I grew up was like just very redneck, you know?
Yeah. Did you like growing up there or no?
No, hated it.
Why? You didn't have any friends?
Well, I still don't have any friends, so then nothing's changed. But I'm very much a loner.
You always been a loner, you feel like?
Yeah, I mean, I just have like a lot of social anxiety, you know. So
only child?
I was for 9 years, and then my sister was born. So like I say, like I was never properly socialized, you know.
Yeah. Was she a buzzkill, or was she a good thing? Were you happy to have a sister?
Cool. Like I like her now.
You guys get along? Is she a friend?
Yeah, we get along. No, I mean it's like I don't know. Seinfeld tells this joke where he says, "I could talk to all of you, but I can't talk to any of you." So it's like he could like easily speak on stage, but like he's shit one-on-one, and that's kind of how I am, you know. Like like I feel most comfortable on stage, even though I'm wildly uncomfortable on stage, which says a lot because like otherwise, and like I'm complete shit at cocktail parties, but I think most people are. Like I don't know too many people that love that sort of environment, but
yeah, I mean there's people out there that do, but I think it's a dying skill set or art form or whatever you want. Yeah, like I mean if you think about back in the day, you know, like before the internet, that was like what you just needed to learn how to be a businessman to make any business.
Yeah.
You know, you need to learn how to be Donald Trump.
Yeah.
the art of the deal, to go, you know, tell a story, to be fun. Like those are the people that, but nowadays, I mean, there's still some of that in some areas, but like if you're just a brainiac who could code something up, or you could be, you know, like the biggest, like whoever, I don't know, Rockefeller or Ford or any of they were probably people who could like talk to people really well.
Right.
But like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, these guys are like nerds.
Right.
Like it doesn't hold the same value.
Right.
I think across the board.
Yeah.
There's a lot of,
that's valid.
You know.
That's valid, yeah.
Even like jobs, like regular jobs, like when people are doing construction, there's like so much more like now.
Yeah.
There's people that work here that live up at the top of that building.
Yeah.
Who are just coding all day.
Yeah.
And they message their coworkers or whatever. It's like, I don't know, we're just kind of in a different world in a sense.
Right. But I mean, comedy, you would say, is still very much a people business, right?
Yes. But even in comedy, I think it's less people oriented than it used to be.
Okay.
I mean, just in terms of like marketing your show and stuff, you used to have to like you can throw a show and not bark. It still exists.
Yeah.
But there's alternate forms of like posting about your show on social media, getting those advertisements. Like it's slowly, there's little things. Comedy still is, you know, the art is in person a lot.
Right.
But even that, like you see jokes, you interact with comedians that you never saw in person. That used to not be the case before you could record. So it's slowly, and people are even experimenting. Like it's going to take a while for this to become a thing.
Yeah.
But people have VR comedy shows and shit, you know, like
a lot of that Zoom comedy, it came out during the pandemic.
So it is, I think it is across the board
a
thing a little bit, but
it's like when you run, like I just ran my first show last month in July, right? And we're doing it the second Friday of every month.
What's the name of it again?
So it's the Dark House Comedy Show.
Dark House Comedy Show.
And it's
Baby and a Lawnmower.
So it's at the Alamo Draft House, Muller. Second Friday of every month. And we ran our first one in July. So I run it with Francisco. And he paid a guy $30 for that flyer with the baby and the lawnmower. And I was like, I don't know what this means. You know, like what is this? And so I just wrote on the flyer, babies and lawnmowers are expressly prohibited by the venue. You know, just to like spin it somehow. And so like
I would have done it for 25. You guys should have hit me up.
Are you good at flyers? Or you just would have come up with something better than that idea?
I mean, if that's what you guys were going for, I think that's what you did.
It was like, it's unique and that nobody else has some weird shit on their flyer.
So did Francisco say, I want the baby in the lawnmower?
No.
He said, just make us
He just said, make us a flyer.
Dark House. Okay.
This guy's really good. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I would have gone a different route probably.
But
I don't know what I would have done.
Right.
I think it works for the name Dark. I mean, you guys are trying to set the standard that, hey, there's going to be some crazy shit we say, right?
Yeah. So,
hey, we're wild. We're not afraid. You can't censor us. We're Dark House Comedy. We're dark. We say the shit that you guys are afraid to say. At your Lighthouse Comedy. Fuck out of here. We're Dark House. We're the bad boys.
At your woke comedy.
At your woke comedy. We wear trench coats and we have dyed black hair.
Or no hair.
Yeah. And eyeliner because we're also pharaohs.
That's right. But it's because you don't know like what's working, right? So like we had an incredible turnout, much better than expected. Killer lineup. So we had like Adam Lucky, Casey Rocket, Ryan Joseph, Raza, Christina Mariani. Like it was an awesome show. Mm-hmm. And
some dark kings.
Yeah.
And queens.
And but you never, because like you do it all, right? Like you do the Facebook ads, you do the Instagram ads, you bark, Eventbrite, and like you don't know what's contributing most word of mouth to your sales. So like you just have to keep on doing all of it every month. But
I've seen some people ask, how'd you hear about the show? You know, you can do a little bit of that maybe.
Yeah.
Try to figure out. Yeah, that's cool though. I'm happy that you guys made that happen. First
Yeah.
show is a big deal.
Yeah.
And now you're on to the second one, which
Yeah.
will be
It's going to be August 12th.
August 12th.
Yeah.
Dark House Comedy. Same
Yeah.
flyer. We still got the baby and the lawnmower.
Yeah. Still got it. It seemed to work. So,
Yeah.
you know, if it ain't
If
broke.
you take it off, people will be like, that's what I came for.
But it got us in trouble with the Facebook ad thing because, like, I thought that they might have thought that we were putting babies and lawnmowers at our show or something like that. Which, like, I don't like kids, so I would gladly do that.
Yeah.
But so they suspended our like ads.
Yeah.
So that was problematic.
Can I get you something to drink?
Oh no, I'm good. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't want anything to drink the whole time we're out here?
How long are we out here?
4 hours?
Are we?
No. How long do you want to be out here?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
I mean, hour and a half. I don't know.
Yeah,
How long
okay. So you don't want to drink anything the whole time? I got all these beverages.
Just got water?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I mostly don't want to rock the boat and like reach over. That's kind of like where I'm
I'll get it to you safely. Do you drink alcohol?
No.
Me neither.
Which also makes for hard to socialize sometimes. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Like,
in people.
Did you never drink or did you like give it up?
I never did, which is even worse.
Yeah.
Because if you had a problem, that's at least cool. And people respect that.
Right.
When you're like, no, I never drank in the first place. People are like, you fucking pussy.
Well, I mean, but it's how you phrase it, right? So if you say like, oh, I'm sober, like, is that better than like, oh, I just don't drink? Like,
yeah. Well, sober sounds like, oh, this
you
guy.
had to recover for some shit. Yeah.
It does have that connotation.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Who cares? But I do. People always say to you, they're like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, like that's fine. You don't drink or whatever. But in their head, people who drink, they like when other people drink.
Right. It's awkward to not.
It's awkward. And I think people feel a little judged.
Oh, like you're looking down on them for drinking?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I don't know. Maybe people have more self-confidence than I give them credit for.
Maybe.
But that's what I always felt like in high school and college and stuff.
Well, it's such a social lubricant, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, like you think about the networking that goes on like at the bar at Kook in the Cave, right?
Right.
You know, like,
yeah.
So.
And you're hanging out at night and, you know, it's a lot of, people want to go out. Comedians are crazy. But there's a lot who don't drink. There really is.
Yeah.
But most of them they had a problem.
Right.
Did you have a problem?
No.
No. You never really drank?
Never appealed to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Even when you were younger?
No, I mean, I definitely drank.
Yeah.
But it
was never a big part of your lifestyle.
Just never my,
Yeah. What's your thought process behind it?
I don't know. Like,
did you have people around you that it became a problem for?
Not really. Yeah. It just never appealed to me. You know what I mean? Like, it tastes like shit.
Yeah.
So it's
same, like... dude. It tastes like shit. Dude, that's what's hilarious. Like, alcohol, even coffee is like this.
Yeah.
Cigarettes.
Yeah.
You have to keep doing it until you like it.
Right.
Like your first time trying any of those things, you're like, this tastes like shit.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
But you want to be cool so bad and fit in that you have to get over that hump. Like, that's crazy.
Well, you know, like the interesting thing is, like my problem is very apparent, which is like sugar. Right. And so I was reading about sugar addiction, if you believe in it. And they were saying how, like the first time you had sugar, you thought it tasted like shit. Like, but it was such a long time ago, you know? And so like when you're a baby, for example, and like you're drinking whatever.
It's too sweet.
Right. Like you're drinking breast milk or whatever. And like, it's like nutritionally, I guess the most perfect food, right? Like by design.
Yeah.
And then you're eating like whatever, vegetables or chicken or whatever. And like the first time somebody gives you a cupcake, like obviously like neither of us can remember.
Right.
But like, oh, like this shit's way too sweet. Like it's not, but you know, it was an interesting thought anyways.
There's definitely a lot of stuff that's too sweet for me.
Right.
I definitely like a balance.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really like sweet stuff in general.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I mean, it's good. It's healthy.
I guess, but even things like just like flavoring, like bananas or like coconut, like those stuff are too sweet. I prefer like more sour or tart.
Okay.
Or savory.
Yeah.
But I do, I mean, you know, I guess it doesn't always work like that. Yeah. But isn't it interesting how like to say that I don't drink is like like that's the strange thing. Like it's like you have to justify why you never got into it to people, as opposed to like the norm being that you don't. Like we're like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if like in the 50s people had to justify not smoking. You know,
probably, yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Doctors smoke like during your visit, you know?
I guess, yeah. But it really, I mean, like for me, it's just, it's a combination of things, but I see the benefits socially.
Right.
But I also see a lot of people where it's like, they'd probably be better off if they didn't drink.
Right.
And I always remember.
I mean, do you think it enhances like your performance on stage as a comic for some?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit, but not.
But to an
window,
extent, right?
Yeah. You got to find the tight window.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember one of the few times that I ever have drank, my brother's wedding last year.
Yeah.
It's like, see, this is the real social part of it too. It's like before his wedding, all his groomsmen were all together.
Yeah.
And everybody's like we're going to take a shot together.
Right.
And it's like, no, it's just like, you feel like a wiener.
Like a buzzkill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I don't have a problem. I'm not afraid of it or whatever. Like, it's just, so I'm like, yeah, I'll have a shot of this whiskey or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was really nervous because I had to give the best man speech.
Okay.
And it did help, I think.
Okay.
Calm me down, calm my nerves a little bit. So that's good. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also a little weird about feeling like I need to rely on something. Like I don't want to feel like.
Yeah.
Because I've heard comics talk about that too, that like they drink before every time they do stand up and then they get stuck like needing that.
Yeah.
You want to have a nice baseline.
Right.
But what were we talking about before this? Florida. Being a loner.
Rogan talks about that. He's like, there are some comics that are just islands. And like, it's a lot better to be part of a community. And I think in Austin, we are part of a community.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm not that close to, like, I'm like friendly with everyone, but not best friends with anyone. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah, same for me as well. I mean, I kind of am slowly feeling like I have like a little bit of like a crew.
Yeah.
I mean, doing the podcast with Maddie Stu, I think helped a lot.
Right.
Because now we kind of see each other at least every week and are working on something together.
Yeah.
So something like that helps. I'm sure with Francisco, you guys have to talk a lot for the for the show.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then because he's been doing it a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I get to meet a lot of people, you know, that I probably wouldn't meet for a little bit longer.
Right.
You know, so it's good exposure and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing is just doing things with people. You slowly get relationships that way.
Yeah, you just build on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I'm not a person who's just like I have my girlfriend and my dog and stuff, and I just you know, I want to do comedy and kind of go home. Like I want to hang out sometimes, but I'm not just hanging at the creek.
Right.
Trying to like make friends. Like it's like freshman year of college, which is what a lot of people want. And I'm not knocking that at all. Like that's cool. I'm like jealous of that a little bit in a way.
Yeah.
But
like, I don't know. 'Cause like I'm so introverted that I don't know like if my hanging out at the creek would do more harm than good. You know what I mean? Sometimes because, you know, you're just like too awkward or like, and again, like the drinking thing.
Right.
And so it's like, I don't know like what it's like at the creek at 145, you know? So it's like, you know, it's like, I mean, obviously nobody's paying attention to the open micers at that point.
Yeah.
Right. So there's like maybe 2-3 people max in the audience.
People just getting drunk, just
I don't
chilling.
even know who's at the sound booth at that point. Like, I think people are just randomly going up. So
yeah, it's like it's also like, what do you want? Like, do you have? Is there a feeling for you that like you wish you had more friends, or you wish you had more of like a community?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For what?
I don't know, because it's like when you are introverted, people think that you're an asshole, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just like you just don't feel comfortable.
Well, but also, I think some of that's just projecting that. Like, have you looked at people who are introverted and thought they're an asshole? Do you look at people like that a lot? Like, can you think of a lot of people in stand-up right now and you're like, oh, this guy's an asshole. He's never talked to me, and like.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so like, I mean, there's definitely. I only think people are an asshole if they actually take action to be a dick. Okay. And I think most people probably think that way. But I've definitely felt like that, where I'm like not saying hi to people or doing anything. Like, they probably think I'm a dick or something. But I think there's so many people coming and going, and you see the same people. Everyone's just worried about their own shit anyways.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, you're just in your head too much.
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, fucking the Brown Recluse didn't say hi to me today. He hates me. Or like, no one gives a shit about. Everyone's just worried about their own shit.
Right.
I think for the most part.
Yeah.
What do I call you? Brown Recluse?
Yeah. That's good. I mean, my real name's Adam. You probably do that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I learned that not too long ago. Hello. Wait, how'd Brown Recluse come up? Can we get the origin story or no?
Quite simply, it's because I'm brown and I'm a recluse.
Yeah. I always say recluse, but it's recluse.
I think it's either.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have 6 extra legs or anything like that.
You don't have what?
6 extra legs or anything.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Although, like, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Because I did a competition, you know, that weekly competition they do at the Creek. It's called like My Favorite Comedian.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so the owner of the club said, like, I don't like your name, because I guess people don't like spiders. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, she.
That was the only interaction I ever had with her. So
I can't say I've had one interaction and it was great.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny that everybody thinks that they're like an authority on comedy, or like what works,
right?
Or like it's such old age thing. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think especially comedy club owners, they want to be like Mitzi Shore and be like, give people pointers and like, you got to do this. I know this. Like, things are changing so fast, and you never know what I mean, Mitzi Shore didn't like Seinfeld, like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird for me to think that anybody has like the authority,
the monopoly on knowledge, you know, like.
And new things come from things that never have come before. You know what I'm saying? From taking risks that this never worked in the past, but I'm going to do it and make it work. So.
Right. So, like, I think, I don't know, probably the person that's had the most success current day is probably like Andrew Schultz, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he's kind of like predicted like the way that technology is going and the way that, you know, trends are going or whatever. You know, like, I don't know. He was showing a clip of him on Rogan maybe 3 years ago saying Netflix is dead. And Rogan's like, what are you talking about? And then now Netflix is kind of dead.
Yeah.
So
honestly.
Yeah. Like, it's funny. Like, he released his special. I think the last day goodbye was yesterday, right? July 31st.
Something like that.
Right. And he said he made 3 times his money back or whatever. Right. He bought it back from, I think it was Amazon. And then Whitney was promoting her Netflix special, like in the kind of the traditional ways, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, like Tim Dillon always called her a dinosaur, which I guess she is. She's been really successful. So there's no one path to success. You know what I mean? That's like the thing that's interesting about it.
Yeah.
It's like you just kind of like do what suits you best.
Right.
You know?
And I think that the floodgates have opened up more as time goes on, and there's like with that's one of the things that like advancements in technology does is it makes it easier to do things in way different ways.
Right.
Like I think it's hard for people who were from a different era.
Yeah.
When probably there was a time when every Hollywood star kind of did the same
Right. There was
type
a path.
of deal. Yeah.
Like you had to get on the like Late Show or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, like the Tonight Show or whatever it was.
But dude, I look at people who are holding on to that shit as just so stupid. Like it's embarrassing to me. And I remember being a little kid, I used to love watching, Jimmy Kimmel and David Letterman and all those fucking shows.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was so funny. But then now I look at those shows and I'm like, this is sad.
Yeah.
Like these people
especially now, and it's just like you just like I wonder who their audience is, to be honest with you. Like they have to be passive audiences, but it's on at 11:30 at night. So it's not like, the news that's on at like 6 p.m. in the background. You're like, who's,
right.
And like, I don't know who's like going to YouTube the next day to hear the latest Colbert bit or like the latest Colbert monologue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just,
I mean, my 100-year-old grandma watches Stephen Colbert sometimes.
Okay.
So I think it's probably a lot of retirement homes.
Yeah.
People who they're not going to figure out a computer or Netflix or something.
So it's just whatever's on.
Yeah, they got some cable package.
Yeah.
They only got the 10 channels or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. That still exists, but it's dying off. Like those people are dying off.
But I mean, is there like kind of a mainstream show that's not a podcast, right? That appeals to people? They're really, I'm trying to think, like
comedy.
Yeah. Like I think Craig Ferguson before he went off the air was pretty cool.
Yeah, but nobody watched that shit.
I don't know, maybe not.
I mean, he was always like
he was on number 12:30 at night.
Yeah, he was like the 5th most popular. Like
okay, maybe that's why they discontinued.
Wait, but he was never bigger than like Jimmy Fallon or like Stephen Colbert or any of those.
No,
but he might have had a more real fan base or something like that.
He was probably the most authentic.
Right?
Give him that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody watches any of that shit as much as people watch podcasts and stuff. It's
like maybe John Oliver. I don't watch him, but maybe
but even that stuff's dying out. Like that was a moment where, but it's past now. Yeah. Like anything new coming up is through the internet.
Right.
There's nothing. You're not gaining fans. You're just trying to slow down the loss of fans.
Right.
In other things, even like Saturday Night Live and stuff, that stuff's coming to an end.
Yeah. I mean, do you attribute that to like them just not adapting or them like kind of skewing left politically or?
I think the political leaning thing.
Yeah.
Is because they see it dipping. So they're
just trying to appeal to that.
Right.
They're just catering.
Yeah. We got to cater to something.
Yeah.
But, or maybe they coincide. I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg.
Right.
But it's just, the internet is just way better because people aren't afraid to.
They're not censored.
Yeah. It's like now everybody can do it.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear some crazy shit, you're not going to find that on TV.
Right.
But there are some people who don't want to hear crazy shit, so.
Right. They like the tepid.
Right.
Sort of like.
But even those, like, I'm sure there's podcasts out there who aren't crazy or like.
Right.
But they're still just doing a better job because they have less people. They have less ads to feed.
Right.
They've got less input. Yeah, it's just streamlined from one person doing it who's got an idea, who's really passionate.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these shows, you got people who they don't give a shit. It's a job. It's a 9 to 5. And so it's different.
Yeah.
It's hard to compete with people who are like young and hungry. And
yeah.
I don't know. It's cool though.
Yeah.
I think it makes it cooler for us.
How did like this whole thing evolve for you? Like, did you like you started like this podcast, and then you started the other one with Maddie, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did the idea for this one come about?
When I was in college, I was like volunteering at the radio station. And that was kind of around the times when I started listening to podcasts, and I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really know that much about stand-up comedy and all those things.
Yeah.
And so I thought around that time, I was like, it'd be cool to work on one of these podcasts, like,
right.
You know, Joe Rogan, and then you get into like Theo Vaughn and Eric Griffin and Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. You find out all these, you know, Tom Segura, all these people through Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that'd be a great thing for me to aim towards, being producing someone's podcast. Like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Work with these funny people. And then, I think I was trying to like get a job in podcasting, but I had no experience or anything. So I was like, I guess I got to start my own podcast.
Okay.
And then I started doing stand-up comedy. So I put off doing a podcast forever. COVID hit, started a podcast because I had free time.
Yeah.
Was just doing audio only, just interviewing and talking to my friends.
Yeah.
And then when I moved here, I was like, I should start doing a video element. Then during COVID, actually, I was recording outdoors when it was really weird and people didn't want to be inside.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is kind of nice. Like, we're out in my backyard. I was like, I should do something outside like this.
Yeah.
And then somehow coming out on the canoe here, I think with my girlfriend, I was like, oh, we had like some picnic out here. I was like, I should do a podcast on here.
Yeah.
And then met Maddie Stu, and I had the idea. I've always wanted to do more than one podcast. Like, if I could have people editing and record and doing all this, like, I'd like to do like 4 podcasts. Like, I have ideas for other ones.
Okay.
But I just can't manage all that right now. And then Maddie, Stu, and I, we always had good conversations when it was just like the two of us. Yeah. And I was like, I'd like to do a podcast with him. And then coincidentally, he hit me up. He's like, I want to do a podcast, and I think we should do one together. Okay. So then we just started doing it.
So how do you get a studio? Like, are there studio spaces to rent, or?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a studio.
Okay.
There was one where we did one in a studio.
Okay.
Where someone we know let at Monk's Jazz Club where they do their show.
Right.
He's like, yeah, we'll do like a test run here.
Okay.
But I think a lot of people rent studio space. Yeah. It's just a little hard because you're going to be losing money if you're at first, you know? Right. So like, it's a little hard for me to justify paying for studio space when there's no income from this podcast, you know?
Right.
And we've realized, like,
it doesn't really impact the audio quality that much, right?
I don't think so. I don't think it makes as much of a difference.
Right.
And I don't know. I kind of like the vibe of like, I'm doing it myself.
Right.
While I'm doing it by myself, you know, like, I don't need it to look like it's this huge professional production when it's not. Like, this is who I am.
I mean, even Rogan's podcast doesn't look like hyper produced. Yeah. Right. Like, it's pretty bare bones.
Well, and I think that goes back to like
the authenticity
like some of these like Jimmy Fallon and whatever, like who have these big productions. It doesn't matter. Like,
if the
content needs to be good. Yeah. Like, you know, it's like people can see through that. Like, it's just like, you know, some of these specials when they have some huge budget and they got these lights and cameras and like explode, like even Andrew Schultz, who like, I love his thoughts and I love his perspective. And I think, you know, there's a reason why he's like him having Bruce Buffer and the smoke and the explosions, like that doesn't do anything for me. Like,
I remember I saw the beginning of his special. And it reminded me of like Rocky, like Apollo, like entering the stadium.
I think that was the idea.
Yeah, like it was just so and he had the like boxing announcer and everything. So it's like it was just like just like Apollo Creed.
So for some people that's cool and that makes them like it more, I guess. But for me, like I think Shane Gillis had the best special of last year.
Yeah.
And he did it at the Creek in the Cave. The quality's not outstanding or anything, but
it's not bad either. I mean,
it's not bad. It's good
quality.
Enough.
Yeah.
And it's about the jokes.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how this came about. Why are you thinking about doing a podcast?
I don't know. Like, I'm thinking maybe starting out and doing just like a solo podcast.
Yeah.
Like Bill Burr.
Uh-huh.
Just to see how it goes.
I recommend that everybody does it.
Yeah.
I think it's very important.
Well, I mean, it's just more, I think you said it previously. It's like, it's just more practice speaking.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just like the more stand up you do, the better you get at it. And the more talking you do in general, you get better at it. So,
and it's like this old way of thinking. Like there's this comedy competition going on right now at Cap City.
Yeah.
Are you part of that?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about that. But like, you know, so many people, they want this old way of like somebody giving them a handout, not a handout, but something that they
acknowledging them,
acknowledge. And they're like, hey, you're this now. Like, we're
Right.
going to give you this because we think you're funny or whatever.
Right.
That is so much of a smaller chance
Yeah.
than of you making your own shit and that becoming its own thing now. I
Yeah.
think all the comedians that you look up to, that you watch their specials, that you go to see on tour,
Yeah.
they made their own thing.
Right. They
made
were never the darlings of bookers, you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, and they
Like-
didn't get some sitcom or like what's your favorite comedian that's on a sitcom right now?
Yeah, I mean,
you know people who made their own podcast
Yeah.
and just got a fan base. Like even like, you know, like the Are You Garbage guys right
Yeah.
now, like
Yeah.
they were great comics for years.
Yeah.
And until they made their own shit
Yeah.
that caught on, like that's kind of what you got to do now,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
So I think there's like there's an argument to like focus on stand up and get really funny.
Yeah.
And then try to like make your thing.
Yeah.
But I think this is a skill in itself too. So might as well try to get better at this too.
Right.
While you're
working on the other stuff.
Right. If you can.
Yeah.
Because people are going to do it eventually.
Right.
Like all these comedians and stuff, like I don't want to do a podcast, but like eventually you're gonna.
Yeah. And you'll just be behind the 8 ball.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you know about the funniest person in Austin competition?
Oh, I went last night to the second.
Were you performing or just
No, I'm not in it because.
Okay.
Dude, I live 10 minutes from here.
Yeah.
And I live in Westlake.
Okay.
That's my address.
Yeah.
So when I submitted, they were like, this is not Austin, which is stupid. I think it's just some technicality that they just looked at and said, that's not.
Because you're not in Austin.
Because, yeah, my address says Westlake.
Okay.
Which Westlake, it's a weird thing because it's like within Austin.
Okay.
Like there's Austin, north, south, east, and west of me. There's a circle that's Westlake. It's its own thing.
Okay.
Anyways, they're like, you have to change your address by this date or you're disqualified. And I forgot to make up an address and send them one. So I'm not in the competition this year.
Okay.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, did you go? There's been 2 first round nights so far. Have you been to any?
I haven't gone yet. I'm going to one. So I'm going up on the 28th of August, but I'm going to go see the show this Sunday.
I highly recommend you go check it.
That was recommended to me by somebody else who performed on the first day.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I recommend that you go. It's a huge venue, probably more people than you've ever performed in front of.
Yeah.
Like definitely go check it out beforehand. But I heard the club is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
What was your opinion of it?
I learned a lot by being an audience member, and I think you can go for free if you're a comedian or whatever. Well, actually, all comedians get like 10 free.
Yeah.
So
that's how I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Yeah, you should do that.
One of my friends put me on the guest list.
You should do that so you can vote.
Yeah.
I thought you didn't have friends. What's going on now?
Oh. Acquaintances.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Was it a full house? Was it packed?
It was pretty full.
Okay.
I mean, they didn't have anyone on the upper deck level. So, but there was a good crowd there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just go in there, you'll get a good idea for, first of all, the crowd was unlike any crowd that I've seen before.
Okay.
In terms of, it was a lot of old people.
Okay.
I don't know if these were people brought their parents and their friends.
Just to vote for them.
I don't know what it was.
Okay.
But it was like Also, Cap City has a reputation here. Like, there's old Austin people who knew about Cap City.
Right.
And I've even seen people like comment before, like, no, I'm going to wait till Cap City opens to go to comedy shows. Like, they do it right. Even though it's not the old Cap City, they just bought the name.
Right. Yeah, it's run by Helium, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people are stupid, but whatever.
Well, it's that legacy type of thinking, right? Like it's
Right.
people, like it's a brand.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, well, it's Cap City. They were here for 30 years.
Yeah, whatever.
You know?
It was an easy crowd. Nobody did bad, really.
Okay.
Even the people that were bad. So like an easy crowd. But my other thought was like the people who went later had a better
I'm going
audience.
First.
You're going first?
Very first, yeah.
But that could be wrong because the first round, Sean Riley, he got passed through,
yeah.
so, and he went first.
Yeah.
But from what I was there was like still people coming in as the first person was going on.
Right.
They're ordering drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. But I felt like the crowd really settled in because everyone did really well.
Yeah.
And so towards the end. But the people towards the beginning, like the second guy that went, he got passed through. So
okay.
I don't know. I think everyone did so well and it was like so kind of even that the people who brought like 10 people, they got passed through because they
just had people to vote for
the edge.
Yeah.
But like, you know, Sean Riley didn't bring anyone.
Okay.
Mikey Biggs didn't bring anyone and they got passed through. So
okay.
It's I saw some comedians that looked a little heartbroken, but from the outside perspective, I don't want to say it was rigged, but it's not really the best representation. The three people that passed last night were not the three best.
Okay.
And everybody that I talked to agreed. We were like, what the fuck?
Okay.
This is weird. So.
But isn't it all 100% audience?
That's what they say. Yeah. You rank them 1 through 15 and they count them up.
Okay.
I think the last round there's judges or something like that.
Okay.
But no, cool. Still cool to do. I think.
Oh yeah.
But it's just like
it's a good experience either way.
Even going to these Creek competitions and stuff, like competitions for comedy, there's gonna be some bias.
Oh yeah.
That's also what I learned too. Like my favorite people didn't get the best laughs.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating as a comic when you're like, this guy's has way better jokes.
Yeah.
But the audience, and you feel like kind of a snob thinking this, but the audience is too dumb to not know that is hack, you know? Like this person, just because they're dancing around, like the audience is tricked into thinking they're really good or, you know what I'm saying?
But I mean, that's an element of showmanship, right?
Dude, it is. And
so it's like, because, you know, like I'm kind of very stoic and like very deadpan.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. That may not appeal to everybody, but it's, you know, who I am.
Yeah.
Like it's
Mikey Biggs is very much that way as well. So,
right.
And he did well.
Yeah.
So there's a way to do it. But it did really put it in my head that like, oh yeah, like being a performer is really important for certain type of people. Like a lot of people there, it seemed like they'd never been to a comedy show and stuff. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like old people who like, I don't know. The punchline could just be like fart or something like that, and they go crazy. It's like, what the fuck's going on, right? Yeah, it was kind of like a mind trip in a way, but it really did make me think. Like, and also like in terms of vote, like there's 15 people, so at the end you're like, who is this person? Who? Even me, and I know most of them. You know, you're like, was their set good? It's just a hard way to do things. To be objective about someone you just saw, that's like a lasting impact versus the first person. I don't know.
Maybe like going in the middle is probably the hardest because, you know, like remembering like 6, 7, and 8 versus 1 or 15, you know?
Right. That's why like the people who are like really out there, who are like did something crazy or did some joke that was like a really unique topic.
Yeah.
Those I think stick in your head more.
Yeah.
Than like, okay, there was just 5, you know, white guys in a row who all looked the same. Like, which one was that one? You know, it's like, I could see how it'd be hard for people to differentiate.
Right.
You getting a phone call?
Yeah, it's fine. I could silence it.
Yeah. You're supposed to silence it at the beginning. I don't know if you...
I'm very unprofessional.
Very unprofessional. One of your friends? Yeah.
I'm just completely negating my thesis here.
Oh, this is another thing I was thinking. Like, do you even... Like, is there a lot of people in comedy that you come across going to open mics and stuff, where you're like, oh, like, I wish we were friends and stuff? Do you feel like you relate to, like, or do you feel like a lot of people are doing different stuff than you? Like, that you wouldn't really...
Well, I mean, going back to, like, the sober thing, like, I'm not, like, a recreational drug user.
Right.
So...
And there's a lot of, you know, young kids and stuff who
right.
are, like, you know, I don't know, out there doing whatever they do.
Yeah.
Immature.
Yeah. I mean...
You're immature, too?
Yeah, very. I mean, you've heard my toilet humor. But, I mean, open mics are just kind of miserable, right? Like, you're not there... At least I'm not... Like, I'm there to just... To work out material.
Yeah.
And maybe it would be more pleasant if I, like, socialized more, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you have a life before comedy?
Yeah, so
How were you traveling so much?
I started comedy in 2019.
Uh-huh.
And, like, before that, I had a 9-to-5.
Yeah.
And so I was an accountant. So that's how. So, yeah, I went and I have a master's in accounting and everything. The CPA license.
Were you doing that for a long time?
Yeah. And so that's, like, basically... I had never traveled until 2016. Like, I just never thought about it. And then I went to Paris and Portugal with 2 of my cousins. And then I also took a side trip to Spain.
Was that something they suggested?
Well, yeah. So they were going to France and Portugal, and they invited me to go. So I was like, okay, cool. And then, like, they didn't want to go to Spain. I was like, you're nuts. I'm going to Spain. And so, like, the time they spent in Portugal, like the 4 days they spent there, while it was raining, like, I was in sunny Spain. So I went to Barcelona, Madrid. And that's, like, when I just, like, fell in love with travel, right? So just, like, being in a different place, not knowing the language, the different food, like, the people.
Did you like being alone?
Yeah.
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 You got used to being a loner?
Yeah.
There's some, I mean, yeah, there must be things that you like about being alone, right?
Well, I mean, it's the ultimate freedom.
Right.
You know, so it's like, I mean, you call it freedom or you call it selfishness. Like, I don't know if those two words are interchangeable, but, like,
honestly, that's true, dude.
I get to do whatever I want all the time, which...
No compromise. It's hard to compromise.
Right. So, like, yeah, I had to compromise when I was in Spain, or when I was in France and Portugal with my cousins.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we want to go to this monastery. I'm like, I don't want to go. That's boring.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'd rather, like, walk on a beach or something,
right.
You know?
And even if you can do your own thing, even just that little bit of friction is, like, annoying sometimes to, like, or let somebody know or check in, like,
yeah,
you know?
So, yeah, that's just when I fell in love with it. So, so I went crazy. Like, my next trip, I went to Japan, China, and South Korea.
And this is all while you're still accounting?
Yeah.
So you just take some time off?
Yeah. So I would just take 10 days off.
Yeah.
Basically, like, 2 weekends and 5 work days, right?
Uh-huh.
And maybe an extra day or something. So I'd have 10 days off. And then yeah, just go. So I went to China. So I had you need a visa to get into China, but you could stay there for, I think, 72 hours as a transit, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I flew into Shanghai and then I was going to Tokyo. So I almost got arrested in communist China.
What?
Yeah. So I didn't realize, because I'd only been to Western Europe, so I didn't realize that my credit cards don't work there. So I got into a cab, couldn't pay the guy. He didn't speak a word of English. I don't speak a word of Mandarin or whatever they speak. And so, like, I, like, you know, signal some people over. Like, I'm stereotyping hard. I'm like, who speaks English? Who speaks English? So, like, you know, I found, like, some young, like, Chinese kids.
Yeah.
And
Did you try to give them a little sign language?
That's what the cab driver would have gone for in lieu of payment. So he translates, or they translate, and we're driving around, like, ATM to ATM. My card isn't working anywhere, right? And then finally we go to the Ritz-Carlton, and it works because tourism, right? Like that's.
Is he waiting around for you?
Well, he's driving me around like to different ATMs, and like
the tab's going up.
Oh well, not even that. Like he's just getting frustrated, right? And then it finally worked, and I was able to pay this guy the $11 that I owed him.
Damn.
Like I was gonna end up in a concentration camp, you know, because I look like I belong in a Chinese concentration camp. But
damn,
I know it's adventures, man.
And you didn't invite.
That's a story I'm gonna tell. Kill Tony if I ever get pulled.
Oh yeah, that's good.
He'll like it.
You think your name is hurting you on Kill Tony?
I don't know.
Bold?
We'll see. I started working at the Vulcan last night, so we'll see what kind of inside information I can get.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought you were working there a little bit.
I was working with Big Laugh. So now, like, I'm working for Vulcan. Yeah.
A smart move, right?
Let's hope.
So, before traveling, though, you were accounting for what? How many years?
Like 10.
10 years.
Yeah.
And
hated it.
Did you hate your life?
Except for the money and the travel.
Yeah, but you weren't traveling for a long time, right?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, after that though, like I started traveling. Like I would take 4 trips a year, like 4 international trips a year.
And so you're just working and looking forward to those trips.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that must have been awesome for a while.
Yeah. Until COVID hit, and then I was just like working from home, hating it, and then.
Those were the big Recluse days.
Yeah.
Hardcore Recluse.
Those were, you know, like as
mandated reclusing.
Yeah, which I didn't like.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I want it to be on my terms.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want, you know, I was living in Chicago at the time, so it's like I don't want that like that dyke mayor telling me what to do.
Shit.
Actually, this is part of Rogan's bit. I probably shouldn't spoil it, but he's like, we could say dyke, but we can't say the F word, and he explains why. So it's because, yeah, it's not a slang.
Is that a newer joke? Because I don't think I've heard that. I've seen his act. Yeah. It's cool that you get to see him a lot, right?
Yeah, and it's cool to see his openers too, you know, because Ron White lives here now, so I've seen Ron White perform probably over a dozen times. You get to see Hans Kim all the time, Tony Hinchcliffe, and then whoever's here throughout the week. So like Shane's here all the time. I don't know if he's moving here.
Did you see Theo Vaughn open for him?
I didn't see Theo Vaughn. I saw Roseanne Barr. That was amazing.
That must have been wild.
Yeah. Like she was just hanging out. She wasn't even going to go on stage. We just started chanting her name, and she went on. And she went on for 20 minutes about getting fired. Like, it was awesome.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Damn.
Just to be able to see her,
So it's during COVID.
I don't know. I feel like the pandemic gave people a lot of time to think and reassess. And I was like, well, I really like doing stand-up when I could. So like I started in August of 2019 and did it for like 6 months before everything shut down.
While you were accounting?
Yeah. Yeah. So just doing it at night.
And what was the thought before you started that I want to just do this as a hobby, or like maybe I can be a stand-up comedian?
Well, it was like, let me give this a try because I think I'm funny and I just want to give this a try.
Weren't you nervous as fuck?
Not really. I don't know what, like I took a comedy class to give me the balls to go up.
Yeah.
And it did.
Was it like Second City or something?
Yeah, it was at Second City.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is known for improv, but there was no way I was going to do improv. Yeah. It was like, I'm not a group project type of person, you know? And so,
yeah, you're an accountant.
And so, so I took that class and like, I don't know, maybe like I'm giving myself too much credit. But like I think I was the funniest person there, and then we did a show at the end, and that clip is still on YouTube, and
it went well.
Yeah, no, it went really well.
Yeah,
and then
good audience too, right?
Yeah, it was a great audience. Yeah, and then I just kept on doing it until everything shut down, and things shut down hard in Chicago. And so like I couldn't go on, and I was just, hating my day job. And like when you work from home, you work longer hours because you don't have to commute. And you basically roll out of bed and then you're just looking at spreadsheets all day for me.
Yeah.
It was just so miserable. So I gave that a year and then quit December 2020. And then I came down to Austin in March of 2021, just like for a month to check it out. And
so you weren't working for a while. What were you doing?
I was just doing DoorDash and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then like savings and stuff.
Were you happier doing that than accounting?
Yeah, because like I was out.
Yeah.
And
not
like,
as stressful.
Not as stressful. And like I had to, and like I could, you know, like think about
hours.
Material, you know, when I was driving or whatever. And during the pandemic, it was really good money.
Is it still good money?
It's still decent money because I've been doing it so long that I get large catering orders.
Mm-hmm.
And so last week I averaged like over $30 an hour.
Damn.
So yeah. And it's like, I'm not working that long because you're only working like lunchtime and whatever part of dinner you could work before starting to go to open mics.
Yeah.
So like 5 to 7, maybe 5:30 to 7. And so, and then I tend to work like longer hours on the weekend unless I have a show or something. But yeah, no, I mean, it's decent money for what it is.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, truth be told, like I'm not a huge fan of Austin. Like I think it's way too hot.
Yeah.
Like way too hot.
Yeah, this summer's been brutal.
Last summer wasn't this bad.
No.
Last summer,
dude, it rained a lot last summer. Like,
yeah.
It hasn't rained this summer at all.
It rained, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks ago on Monday, and it completely destroyed Kill Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the people waiting outside,
right.
You know. So it's way too hot, and I don't think Austin is well run. You know, like I don't think it's like I think the city has a lot of problems for it being as small as it is. You know. Just like I think the city government's kind of shitty here.
Like what?
I mean the tents when we first got here, that was pretty bad.
Did you have that in Chicago?
No, it's too cold. So yeah, there really aren't because it's like winter 8 months out of the year.
Yeah.
I mean Chicago has other problems, obviously.
Right.
But
at least they have homes.
Or shelters, right? Yeah, I mean the roads are dog shit here, like absolute dog shit. And I drive for a living, so like it's like if you were a secretary and somebody shit on your keyboard every 15 seconds.
Damn, they're shitting on the roads?
That's how many potholes there are here, you know?
Yeah. So you're just here for comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my sister lives in Dallas, so it's, you know, she's 3 hours away, which is cool. She has kids and stuff, so.
Damn.
But
Uncle Recluse?
I'm not good with kids.
No?
Well, they're too perceptive, you know, like they could like definitely like pick up on all your insecurities really quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
damn, what did they
more
do?
than an audience. But yeah.
Well, they're like little shithead kids then, right?
No, they're decent. They're not too bad.
I mean, they're bullying you? Are they saying mean shit?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they're good. Not yet, anyways. So, why did you move here? Same reason, or?
Yeah, I think just during COVID, you know, my girlfriend and I, we were both living at our parents' houses, and we're like, let's not do this anymore. Let's move somewhere else.
Yeah.
And California was pretty annoying to be in.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, let's just go somewhere else. And so we were thinking about places. We narrowed it down to like Seattle, Denver, Austin.
Yeah.
And this was during the winter time. Austin seemed the warmest.
Also during the summertime, it's the warmest.
True. And I wanted to come to Austin for comedy.
Yeah.
My girlfriend didn't give a shit about comedy, but
Obviously.
she had some family out here. So we came and visited, and we're like, yeah, let's do Austin.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, the nature, like I do like the nature here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like the hiking and the mountains or the hills or whatever.
You go
It's
hiking?
really nice. On occasion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just pretty,
Right.
like once you like leave downtown, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But downtown itself is pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
And I work there, so I know.
Yeah.
I'm there at 3 a.m. I don't know. Like, I don't know which city's beautiful at 3 a.m. though, to be honest, or to be fair. But
every place is more beautiful than LA to me. Like in LA, like,
yeah.
dude, just seeing like these green trees here is like so much prettier than where I'm from.
Yeah.
I mean, you have mountains, which are nice in California.
Yeah.
I guess. And you have the beach, which is nice.
Right.
But like, away from that, it's like much prettier here.
Yeah.
But so you happy with do you ever think back like, oh, I should still be accounting, or do you think
no, never.
You think you made the right choice?
Yeah, I made the right choice.
You're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You feel good about where you're at?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I can just say that from when I first seen you, I mean, you had funny jokes right away when I first started seeing you.
Yeah.
Not that I'm some comedy guru or I can give advice or say any, but just compliment wise.
Yeah.
I think you've improved a lot.
Right. Well, it's getting those reps in.
Yeah. Do you feel that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that's cool.
Like I feel confident enough going in front of the people that we book on our show. Like the people that Francisco's able to get us on our show.
Yeah.
And then, asking them, to keep me in mind for their shows, So, all that kind of stuff. Like it's a progression like anything else. Like the more you do it.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just like getting those reps in, different types of audiences, different types of circumstances.
And now you're booking your own show.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a show going too eventually.
How's it going? Like, how's it going with finding a venue? Because that's the hardest part.
Yeah. I mean, I asked a few places. People don't respond.
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah, it is.
But it's just a numbers game, I guess. Right?
Yeah. It took us, I don't know, like 3 months. It was like funny the way the show evolved is Francisco saw me one time and he's like, oh, I'm putting the show together. Like, I liked your set. I'll give you like a 5-minute guest spot. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, I don't know, a few weeks passed. I'm like, oh, hey, like, how's it, coming along? And he's like, oh, we need to find a venue and we need a sound system. And I was like, so you haven't done anything? And he's like, no, I haven't done anything. And so I was like, well, do you want to partner up? Like, I can help out. And he's like, yeah, sure. And so like I did everything. And then he booked the comics. And he has a lot more friends that could come to the show. So like it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I suggest is like when somebody gives you a rejection, if you could say, well, do you have in mind somebody who might be open to the idea?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I was gonna say, do you have some advice for me?
Oh, right. Yeah. So it's just,
any other plans for the future? You still traveling?
I want to go to Cuba. Yeah. So I'm thinking, cause it's close.
Yeah.
And cheap. But that's another thing. Like our credit cards don't work there because of the embargo. So I'm going to have to carry enough cash with me for the entire trip.
Yeah.
But I know that going into it now.
What do you want to go to Cuba for?
I feel like it's a place that's stuck in time. So I don't know if you've seen The Godfather 2, but it's like, like it's pretty much the same if I go now in 2022 as it was when they shot that movie in 1972 or whatever it is.
I've heard all the cars are kind of the same.
Yeah, all the cars are really old and the architecture and stuff. So from what I understand, you need to get a visa when you get there, but you just pay $50 for it at the airport. And your reason for going is called support for the Cuban people because you can't get a tourism visa.
Huh.
And so you just have to show proof that you supported a whole bunch of Cuban businesses or stuff, which is easy enough. Like if you eat at a Cuban restaurant or take a Cuban tour or something. But
Maybe.
So I'm thinking that
do a Cuban dark house comedy show.
Maybe. I don't speak that much. My Spanish isn't great, but you know,
some people there got to speak English, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, so
Francisco can help you along.
He can help me out. He could do the whole show.
He can translate your jokes.
I wonder if he's ever tried Spanish comedy, because I know Segura has done that because he speaks Spanish, and he says it's a lot harder. But Spanish is Francisco's native language.
Yeah, so I'm sure
it's
pretty impressive that you can learn another language and then start doing
comedy,
and then do jokes and that.
Yeah,
it would be interesting. Do you speak any other languages?
I speak a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Arabic from my parents growing up, or having to speak to my grandparents growing up.
Yeah.
But no, not really.
Your parents...
Not enough to where I'm proficient. Like, even if I went back to the Middle East, I would speak English the whole time. Because if I tried to speak Arabic, it's just a sign to, like, be taken advantage of, even more than if you just spoke English.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
You think I should check out Egypt? Do you think it's worth me visiting?
Yeah, just know beforehand that it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your parents still in Florida?
Yeah, they are.
Do they know you're doing comedy?
No.
Scared to tell them?
Yeah.
Do they think you're still accounting?
Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah. Damn.
That's like sneaking out late at night.
I know.
You're like, yeah. What do you think would happen if you told them?
Just a lecture that I don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Like a lot of kids are probably scared to tell their parents stuff. Like, wouldn't you'd want to be a parent that like your kids could tell you anything, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. There's like.
I mean, you could tell them it'd be fine. You just don't want to deal with it.
Right. Like, I mean, there's always this trade-off between, you know, parents just want their kids to be secure.
Right.
And so.
Why worry them?
Right. And it's, I don't know. Like, there's a shift, I think, that happens, like, when kids hit a certain age. Like, when they're young, you could tell them they could be anything. Although, like, comedy never is on that list. Right. Like, it's always firefighter or astronaut or something like that. But then beyond that point, you know, you're just looking for them to be secure.
Right.
And so you're like, oh, well, who cares if you're bored to death and hate every second of your life, as long as you have that steady paycheck in.
Wild, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It took me longer to get there, I guess. But I'm more thankful.
I think it's really cool that, you know, you took that leap.
Yeah.
And you left.
Well, I mean, you can only be miserable for so long, I guess. And, like, I don't have a wife and kids to support.
Right.
You know, so, like, I guess it was easier. Like, I didn't have a mortgage or, you know, preschool payments or any of that shit. Or college funds or any of that.
Do you think you'll ever have a wife or kids?
I don't know. I think I'd have to become a more successful comic first. I can't see dragging someone to open mics.
Yeah.
So.
It is a tough thing for people to get behind, I guess.
Yeah. It's such a long shot, right? So it's.
Well, but it's also just like the lifestyle. Like, okay, I'm going to go out tonight.
Yeah.
Again. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how do you balance that? Like,
yeah, it's not ideal.
I don't know. Like, the longer you go, like, you're more selective with the mics you go to, right? Like, you're not just going to, like, each and every mic.
Right.
To perform in front of, like, one person or driving all the way up to Anderson Mill to perform in front of, like, a bunch of, like, locals that couldn't give a shit.
Right. Yeah, it definitely is a balance you try to figure out and try to actively work within. And sometimes you feel like you're, doing more, and sometimes you feel like you're doing less, or you need to manage, and things come up, you know.
Yeah.
So, but you figure it out.
Yeah. Balance like everything else.
Yeah, and well, for my girlfriend, like we we were already dating by the time I got the idea to do comedy.
Yeah.
Which sometimes I feel like wasn't the most fair thing to throw upon someone.
Surprise. I'm delusional.
You know. But I think, it's hard as something you're advertising yourself as.
Right.
To get somebody on board with that. But I mean, do you do any dating? Do you go on dating apps? Do you do any?
I mean, I'm on the dating apps, but I don't get that many matches. So.
Yeah, I've never been on the dating apps, but
yeah, you're a much better person for it.
Well,
probably a lot happier.
I mean, it's just that I've been with my girlfriend since high school, so I never.
Yeah, it's very anxiety inducing,
I would imagine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you got to try to meet somebody out in the world.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's all right. I get to do whatever I want until then, right?
Yeah.
Like we said.
Well, even the brown recluse has to mate once in a while, right?
Once in a while.
To reproduce. That's all it is. That's how you got to pitch it out on the apps. Like, this is a one-time thing. I'm just coming to drop my seed in you, and then I'll be...
Very appealing pitch,
Just here to give you a little baby. Okay. Anything else we need to say?
That's it. Come out to the Amber House Muller, second Friday of the month on August 12th.
Hell yeah.